Very nice. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. We'll celebrate many more simchas.
Amen, amen, amen.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I give you a blessing on my birthday. My birthday was yesterday, but blessings are never too late to give, and maybe should give us all arichas yamim v'shalom teves. Should all have a long and happy and healthy life.
Amen.
Only have simchas in life.
Amen.
We should have the ultimate simcha, the coming of Mashiach. Mamish. There's a page missing. Okay, I'm holding on page 30.
Okay.
You have it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the rush? So, see this basis later. You'll see the opening of Tanya. The Alter Rebbe brings down the statement of a Medrash that Nesava Kodesh Baruch Hu Liyas Eidira B'Tarteinim. The whole purpose of creation was that God wanted to have a dwelling place in this world. B'Tarteinim. Tarteinim means, as Chassidus says, Tarteinim is the lower world. That there's no concept in spirituality, upper and lower, but because everything is by God, everything is the same, whether you're upper or lower. Upper and lower is a physical concept, and spirituality is no upper and lower, higher and something that's higher, something that's low. God, I'm God, I don't change. So the difference between the upper concept and the lower concept is the concept of revelation of godliness. That's that's how Chassidut looks at things, the revelation of godliness. So you have body of soul. You have the concept of the Eibush sends a soul down to a body, our body, and that's a great yirida. That's a great demotion to the soul. Why? Why is it demotion? Not because he's coming from a high place to a low place, because the neshama is a spiritual thing. So it also doesn't have any difference between what's higher and what's lower. He has no time issues. He has no upper and lower issues. He has, again, the concept of something that where he's higher means he has a greater feeling of revelation and connection. When he comes into this body, he suddenly has to deal with the physical reality, which is a great descent to the journey of the soul, to the purpose and the journey of the soul. So why does the soul need to come down into this body? Why did God want that the soul should come down into this body? So that it would give the body, which God created also, as he created the soul, he would give this body the capability to rectify itself, to uplift itself, take the gashmias, take the physicality. As Alter Rebbe said, that God took spirituality and he made it physical, and our obligation is to take the physical and make it spiritual. So that's what? It's not so simple. It wasn't simple making spirituality, physicality also wasn't simple. God, it was a difficult thing. Only God could have gone from the spiritual to the physical. Spiritual cannot create physical. Spiritual can go lower, less light, or more light, but spiritual cannot create physical. Only God can create physical. Yesh mi'ayin, something from nothing. Only God can create something from nothing. So that's why Bereshit bara Elokim, the upper world. Once God created the world of emanation, the world of Atzilus, which is the world of emanation, the highest level, that world itself can create the world of formation. That the world of formation can come down into the world of Yitzira Bria, the world of creation. From the world of creation can diminish itself and come down to world of formation, and the world of formation can diminish itself and come down to world of action. But a physical thing, any physical thing cannot be created by God himself. God himself has to create yesh mi'ayin, because the leap, the separation between what is a ayin, concept of godliness, of and the concept of a gashmi, a table, is not a connection. There's no connection, seemingly, between what a spiritual is and what a physical thing is. And therefore, the only one who can make that connection is God can make that connection between what is spiritual and what's physical. And that's the way it is. And therefore, in essence, why did Eibishter want these two things to ultimately come together? Because in the physical, there's something that is spiritual, really. In the physical, in the Gashmi, there's something that is really a spiritual thing, even though you see the physical thing as its own thing and its own identity. But really, as we say a bracha, what is general bracha? What is the general blessing that we say? You just had a coffee, you're drinking water. What is the general bracha? Shahakel niya bidvarei. Everything comes from His word. Nothing comes from everything. Everything, because if it's a gashmi, if it's a physical thing, everything comes from the word of God. That there's nothing in the physical world. The dust came just because it came. Right? So shahakol nibidvare. Nothing in this world doesn't come here because of something else. Nothing in this world doesn't come here because of another existence. Everything comes here from the thing itself. The Rebbe said the beauty of shahakol nibidvare. You take a drink of water. You're not just drinking a little water. What does this little water have to do with what you really need? A lot of water, or the dehydration, not to get dehydrated. A little drink of water, and what do you say every time you take a drink of water? You have to make it, unless it's you're part of you're still drinking. But if you suddenly go and just take a sip of water, you're passing a fountain, and you decide to take a sip of water, you make a bracha. Shahakol nibidvare. You're taking a little sip. What is a little sip in comparison to everything that you're going to do during the day? No, you got to make a bracha. Why? Because you have to thank the Eibishter on you have to realize that in this physical world, don't take anything for granted. Not in the spiritual world, you can take things for granted. You can't take for granted in this physical world. That's what the Medrash says, that really you should thank God, al kol neshima uneshima. Really, you should thank God on every breath you take. The Gemara says, every breath you take. You shouldn't take it for granted, but we do take it for granted, right? We seemingly take it for granted, right? We think, well, we breathed yesterday, we'll breathe today. You're gonna breathe. Why would it? That's the nature of the thing, that we just we breathe because we breathe. No, you have to thank. The Gemara says you have to thank God on the 24 hours of breathing. You have to thank the Eibishter on every neshima. Really, you should thank God in every breath. It does go crazy if you imagine thanking God on every breath. So the Gemara says the Eibishter Rachmanis on us. He said, okay, really you have to go to work. If you imagine you have to thank God at every neshima, you wouldn't be able to do anything. About every breath, you're going to have to thank the Eibishter. You have to thank God.
Misunderstood. You said about taking the spiritual for granted. You can take the spiritual for
Because
granted.
again, the real things you can't take for granted is what God, in essence, created and creates constantly, is the physical world. The spiritual world is a concept that there's a light of God, and that continues. It's the Eir Hashem. So it's everlasting. It was here before, it will be here, it never changes. But the physical world is something that God creates every minute. So if God is not going to create this right now, it's not going to be here. So,
why take?
I don't think you should take anything for granted. I think the spirituality can be more taken for granted because it's everlasting. It's never going to end. Your neshama is going to be here. It's going to be. It was here thousands of years before you were here, and it's going to be it'll be here after you're here. It's never ending in neshama. Your neshama is never ending. Your neshama was not born when you were born. Your neshama is an alter yid. It's an old soul. It was created before creation of the world. So your soul's a 5,000-year-old neshama. You think because you got a neshama that's a young guy. Your neshama, you have to realize what is 70, 80 years to the neshama. Maybe to your body, it's a big important thing. Well, it's 70, 80 years to your neshama. It's not even a percentage to the thousands of years that it's been here in existence. So you're here 70 years. Yippee do. What is the great journey? It's not. Your neshama is not. It's been here for thousands of years, and it's going to be here forever till forever. The neshama nitzchis. The neshama is everlasting. So what's a journey of 70 years? Like that's what we say. What is a journey of 70, 80 years? Garnish. It's like a shadow. It's a garnish, like a fleeting breath, because it is garnished in comparison to the neshama's life. But it is something. Why is it something? The only reason why the neshama is something to you, especially to each and every one, because it came into my body. So now that's why the Moshe Rabbeinu keeps on saying, "Hayoyim." What's important is today. Like some people go to previous lives. Well, what is that important? You're gonna go through 5,000 years of your journey in neshama. You won't have time in your lifetime to sit down and figure out the 5,000 years of your soul. That's going to help you anything right now? No. You know, neshama has thousands of years of experience. It's thousands of years of existence. Not the neshama, your guf does all these dumb things. So your neshama comes into your body, and then your body says to it, "Oh, you're not so important." It's like that's why it says "Shalavicha yagetcha." You really need to ask your neshama. What do you mean? You know what existence is? You just came here. Well, you go to a soul and tell it what it is. I've been here longer than you. Are you telling me what existence is? You're telling me what importance is? I know much more than you. No, we tell the neshama, you're not important. You're not relevant. You don't really know what life's all about. You don't really know what the situation is. That's what it says. It says you tell the neshama, your existence, what you're going through, you think that's a big problem? There's bigger problems. Trust me. I've gone through worse issues. I got through bigger problems in life. So therefore, don't worry. Don't worry. Survive bigger issues. The neshama. The neshama says to go. That's a problem. Trust me, you've gone through bigger issues. Through different bodies, I've gone through different issues. Trust me, it's easy. This will be a piece of cake. And don't worry. That's the truth. That is the truth. That's the truth of the neshama's life. But to the guf, to this body that I have, it's very important because now it's important what I'm living today. That's why I don't care what the neshama went through years ago, because it's not my problem. My problem is what I'm dealing with right now.
I went through a past life regression.
Okay.
And said that I was in the Holocaust.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
My wife always told me you were a king in the past life. I was a king in the past life.
Did you see off the throne?
You see that? I got off the throne on her, but she tells in the past life, not now. So Zal says that. The Arizal says that. There is so the Baal Shem Tov said the Alter Rebbe was a new soul. Yeah, I don't know. The Baal Shem Tov said the Alter Rebbe was a new soul. That about the Rebbe. I have no idea. It means he had no past lives.
That's what it means.
Whatever that means. Light. He was an unbelievable light. Alter Rebbe was an unbelievable light to the world. He was a multi-purpose individual. He had nigla chassidus. He had the greatness in all. There were very few people, the Gemara says, who had everything. You know, like Betzalel, the Gemara says he was, even though there were many people, master weavers and many different things, Betzalel had a neshama that he was a multi-purpose master individual. The Eibusha gave him that neshama that he could do in all aspects of any kind of concept. So that's in the physical world, and that's why Betzalel built a beautiful mishkan, and in all aspects he was carpentry and gold and tapestry. He was this multi-purpose individual. And Eliyahu, but mainly Betzalel. No, I don't. Eliyahu. Pinchas Eliyahu. I mean, the Gemara says no. Pinchas Eliyahu, right? Pinchas Eliyahu. So Pinchas is so Pinchas is Eliyahu. So I mean, I don't know. It's above my pay grade. I'm not into this whole business. It's above my pay grade. Trust me. I work for sales, not for management. So don't talk to me in so whatever.
if you're not a new soul, you cannot attain the spirituality of the Alpha Rebbe.
You can take anything you want. That's your free choice. You can try. But the Alter Rebbe learned Tanya says you can't become a tzaddik. Most of us cannot become a tzaddik. We're not going to be able to become a tzaddik. We are not. That's not the verse. That's not the purpose of our soul.
I mean, is it tzaddik?
No, I just told you. Moshe Rabbeinu, what the Gemara says, was a neshama of Kayin. So what do I know how souls work? Gilgal and Neshamas. There's a book actually in English today, translated from Arizal, called Gilgal and Neshamas. You want to read spooky stuff? Have a good enjoy yourself. So they go to Arizal. He sells all these Gilgal and Neshamas of all the reincarnation of souls. But you have to realize in Chassidus, it doesn't mean that your soul is not. Gilgal and Neshamas, people make a mistake and they don't understand. If you say that you don't have a new soul, that means that the previous soul came down. No. That's not the way Chassidus looks at as that. Gilgal and Neshama's reincarnation doesn't mean that the whole soul comes down. Okay, it means that the soul gives. That's why the spark of the soul. So Moshe Rabbeinu, the Alter Rebbe, the Rizal says Moshe Rabbeinu is a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu is in every Jewish soul. So that means that the Moshe Rabbeinu spark. That's why he's called the Moshe Rabbeinu, because his neshama had the capability of giving out millions of sparks. Understand? And that spark is in every Jew. So Moshe Rabbeinu is in every Jew. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu, the Gemara says, Torah says that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted that his children should be the future leaders. The Abish says, I'm going to be greater. You're going to have millions of children. You're not going to have 2 children. Every Jew is going to be your child, because I'm going to make sure that the spark of you is going to go into every Jew. Wow. And now every Jew will have your neshama in them. And that will give them the capability to do what they're supposed to do. So there's a lot of concept of what means Gilgal and Neshama. I'm not Moshe Rabbeinu's soul. I am, but I have a nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu. I have a nitzutz. I have a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu within me, and as long as I connect to Moshe Rabbeinu, that spark, that gives me capability to do for my own neshama. Now, even if my neshama is a Gilgal from somebody else, let's say, and it is because I don't have a new soul going to Arizal. But it doesn't mean that neshama is not a Gan Eden, he's in my soul. It means that neshama had a capability to give off a spark, to give off like cloning, to give something of itself, and to give it to my soul. But my soul is my own soul. So Zalman Buket is Zalman Buket. Even though it's a reincarnation, somehow still I own him. I have my own identity. I'm not that creation of him. I might have a connection to him. So, or her, I don't know, whoever it is. So, and that neshama was a reincarnation of somebody else. So really the 600,000 general souls. That's it. That's original 600,000 souls, which the Arizal says can give off 600,000 souls. So now how much? 600,000 times 600,000. So that's it. And we all really all come out. We call B'nai Yisrael. We all come out of Yaakov Avinu. He was our general soul. Yisrael. Yeah.
Sinner besides Moshe.
Yeah.
Now you know why you saw your Meshiga, because you have so many Meshiga, so many entities in you that you're a bit of Meshiga. So don't worry, Baruch Hashem, we're all Meshiga, don't worry. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I don't think that. No, I think they wanted a family because they didn't trust anybody else.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't know what other people. But we all need to keep in the Jewish family for that reason. So that's the general reason you're not allowed to. You need to keep it. If you need to marry your soul, you cannot marry out of the Jewish nation because they don't have that neshama. So basically, how can you marry out of that sole purpose? So since we all come out of one soul, which is Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, which Yaakov, Rachel, Leah, and Zilpah, Bilhah, and Zilpah, which created 12 general souls, which created 600,000 even more general souls. Now we need to all be in the 600,000 souls that came together. So how do you go out of that soul? You can marry somebody who doesn't have that neshama, doesn't have that chelik elokam mamam. How is it possible to be a good shidduch? It's impossible. So it might be possible on bodily issues, but it's not possible on a spiritual level. It has no capability. So it's not possible. It's not like you're intermarriage because it doesn't work. It doesn't work on a spiritual level. It's impossible to work. Not because they're not good people, not because you wouldn't be a good match. Maybe you would be a good match, but you're not a good spiritual match. And that's it. It's impossible to make this bashed that your souls can come together. It's impossible.
Family is born.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just getting. I don't know. You got to go back and.
But you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I don't know. I don't know why they did that. First of all, it was the most unhealthy thing to do. Ultimately, to marry within your family, you should genetically. You should marry out of your family, and right. Well, my family, my mother and father were first cousins. They were. But why did my mother and my father get married? Because they came out of the war. They were all lonely. They were all dispersed. And why wouldn't you marry your family? Oh, you don't know anybody. Everything was crazy. It was totally berserk going on. So that was seemingly the best situation. That if you had a family, let's get together. You know, what else is going to be left of our family? We got to build our family. You know. So that was why they, I believe, it was a good shidduch for that reason. I don't know if, in the normal situations, there would be a good shidduch. It's not, so it's a different situation. Moshe Rabbeinu comes from, Moshe Rabbeinu is even closer. His father and mother were aunt and nephew. Moshe Rabbeinu's mother and his father were aunt. Yocheved was Amram's aunt, which is even prohibited in Torah ultimately. Right? Yeah, you're not allowed to marry your aunt. Yeah. Because they got married before Matan Torah. So, but it was yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Should be like, but Tzala also was all in the family. It's all in the family. But Tzala was his nephew. All in the family. That's why some people rumbled, right? Everything was in the family. It was a family business. Tzala was in the family. Aaron was in the family. All in the family. Keep it in the family. Yeah.
So you said none of us are going to become tzaddikim.
Right.
And it's not really,
Right.
that's not the purpose. Could you elaborate on that a little bit about the purpose?
Everybody has a purpose in life. Everybody has a purpose in life. And the purpose of most people is the struggle, is this struggle of the struggle with the physical, the struggle of the spiritual and the physical, that how to look at a physical thing and see a spiritual thing. Most of us can understand it, most of us even can imagine it, but most of us cannot see it. So tzaddik has the capability of seeing the spiritual worlds. Most of us don't have it. If you start a illusion to see the spiritual world, most of us should go get some help, and because they're having delusional whatever, delusions of good whatever, yeah, that's it. So therefore, that's the truth is that's why out of those experiences, you don't know, you're not 100% sure that it's true. It could be a fantasy in your mind, and it could be somebody validates that fantasy that you're, but you don't know. It's something maybe you had, but you don't know. You're not 100%. Nobody, that tzaddik didn't come and tell you that you don't know. So how do you know? It's in your mind. It's okay. So maybe it makes sense to you Maybe it sounds good to you, but people can fantasize a lot of things. I'm not saying it is a fantasy. I'm just saying, but you don't know 100% sure. Okay, so then it's something else. I'm not gonna add that again. It's above my pay grade. So maybe it's in his pay grade. I'm not gonna say. So if a Makubal tells you, a holy Jew tells you that, that's good. I have no problem with that. But I don't know. But I don't know. A lot of people tell me these things, and then I don't invalidate them because I don't know. I don't know. Could be true, could be not true. I have no idea.
I didn't know.
Oh,
I'll tell you that, you have this great background, you're a person, whatever, and by the way, you only.
Well, the very famous story of by Chassidim, we say the story of the Mishnah Magid, that the Mishnah Magid became, the founder, the writer of Baal Shem Tov. He was a extremely very holy Jew, and when he was a child, there was a fire in those days when you had a fire in the city, the whole city, the whole city went up in flame. The whole shtetl, whatever the city was, the whole shtetl went up in flame because it was all made out of straw houses. It was all made out of straw. It was a tragedy. It was a great tragedy when there was a fire. It was a very sad situation. A lot of things, a lot of great svarim, a lot of great things were destroyed. Alter Rebbe, they missing half of his Shulchan Aruch. It was destroyed in fire. A lot of svarim were destroyed in these fires because where were they? They were in the shoals, they were in the houses, and they went up in flames. It simply went up in flames. So the Mishnah Magid, there was a fire in Mizrich, and he was a boy, and the whole fire, it was like a hurricane, it was like an earthquake. The whole city went up in flame, and his father and mother standing outside the house, and they're crying because the house is going up in flame, and all the holy books are going up in flame. And what were they sad about? Because they had a shtay yichus, they had a document of lineage, where they come from and who their family heritage is, and how they come straight from Vesfos, from David HaMelech, whatever. They had this document, and his mother was crying. Said, "Oh, my document is going. This shtay yichus, that's a real, it's a priceless document. It's how do you, where can you get? You can bring back svarim. You can't bring back this document." So the young boy he said, "Don't worry, don't worry. Your yichus will start from me."
Wow.
Yeah, don't worry about your yichus. Don't worry about your past. It's true, yichus. He was a kid. He was like a 10-year-old kid. So your yichus was starting. He wanted to console her. He didn't know what he didn't know. He didn't know what he really meant. So he meant what he said the right thing. He said, "Your yichus starts from me." That's it. Your yichus is going to start from me. It came to ultimately became the Mishnah Magid. It was Mizrich Magid, the one who took over the Baal Shem Tov message. Came the Mishnah Magid, who took over the Baal Shem Tov, teacher of the Baal Shem Tov, the Alter Rebbe.
Just be careful what comes out of your mouth.
He was a kid.
He said it to his parent. Hashem granted him the same thing as Yaakov got in trouble.
That's it. So don't worry. Everybody can be a Baal Yichus over here. Don't worry. Don't worry about what the Neshama did in the past, because what's important when your Neshama does in the present. So anything the Neshama did in the past, it doesn't help you to what your Neshama does in the present. That's a joke they say. The guy who walks into the butcher and he says, "Can I buy some meat?" And the guy says, "100%, yeah, sure." And he says, "Is it kosher?" He says, "Look at the picture in the back. Who's that? That's my grandfather, a guy with the lying a bird." And he says, look at my grandfather. If my grandfather, that's my grandfather. The guy says, "If your grandfather was selling the meat, I would buy the meat. But your grandfather's in the picture. You're selling me the meat. So don't tell me that your grandfather. If you look like your grandfather, I wouldn't ask the question. But your grandfather's in the picture, and you look like the basement." So you have to what the grandfather look doesn't help him. Like most people tell me, "Oh, my grandfather's a great rabbi." What does that help me? Your grandfather's a great rabbi. He was a great rabbi. He's dead already now. I'm Tzlach Rabba. What about you? What about you? Who are you looking at? What are you looking at? I saw there's a video of the Rebbe just came out. I never saw this video. And the guy passes by the Rebbe, a guy who was in prison. So you don't see the guy. They blurred out the guy. And he passed by the Rebbe. He said, I was in prison, very traumatic experience. And the Rebbe said, you should forget it. Forget it. Forget what you went through. So the guy says to the Rebbe, he says, no, he says, no, I'll never forget it. So you see the Rebbe gets a little bit serious, and he says Yidden went out of Mitzrayim and they forgot it. Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, and we don't celebrate the going into Mitzrayim. We celebrate Yetzias Mitzrayim. We don't come together, even though we sit and eat bitter herbs a little bit, but we don't come together to remember Galus Mitzrayim. We come together, Yetzias Mitzrayim. You should forget it. And the Rebbe said, I know it's hard. I'm telling you it's not easy, but I'm telling you, you should forget it. And that's what the Rebbe said to him. So it's just an interesting expression, and the truth is that I believe that when it comes to Tsar and these things, we should forget it. We should forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. Forget it. Fido. You ever heard of the word Fido? Forget it. Drive on. Forget it. That's what they teach you in driving class. You ever got a ticket? They'll teach you. I mean, nobody over here should get a ticket, but maybe it's worth to get a ticket just to learn this lesson. So they teach you in road rage. They say, if you ever get in a situation of road rage, Fido, forget it, drive on. Trust me, it will be much easier. You'll have a much easier life, and you might have a life if you just forget it and drive on. And that's what the Rebbe in essence told this guy. Forget it, drive on. Forget about your experience. Forget it. Forget it. And drive on. And that's what it is. And that's what it is. But the truth is, we're all told that, because we're not going to be a tzaddik. So you're not going to be a tzaddik, right? So that's what's important to realize. You're not going to be a tzaddik. And therefore, you're always going to be dealing with physical problems and physical issues and physical realities. And your nefesh abam is evil, etc. You're always going to be dealing with it. Just drive on. Because if not, it's going to drag you down into your. So therefore, if your previous life, I always tell this to people, if your previous life is going to enhance your life, that means, I think my wife tells me I was a king. Maybe, you have to act like a king. I don't know. You're a king, act like a king. If your previous life is going to enhance your life, then you should. Then it's a good thing. It gives you. But a lot of us think that our previous lives, negatives of our previous lives, the troubles of our previous lives, the headaches of it, forget it. You surely the Eibishter made you forget it, because you're only a gildel. So you sure the Eibishter says that previous life has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with you. Garnished, it's garnished. Forget it. It has nothing to do with you. What has to do with you is your present life, and forget it. So if Chassidus tells you the truth is that every morning you get up in the morning, you say, I thank you, the Eibishter, that God gave back my neshama for one reason. Forget the previous day. Forget it. It's done. It's done. It has nothing to do with this day. If you drag the previous day into this day, then you didn't say the Maida, and then you haven't said the Maida Ani correctly. That's it. If you're dragging that day, you're dragging in negative for sure, not the positive. You're dragging in negative with you from the previous day, then you didn't understand them. You didn't understand your prayer. Maida Ani lefanecha shazayta b'ina shmasi. The Eibishter gave me back a clean slow. That's the prayer. The Eibishter gave me back not a iskahakta neshama from yesterday. He gave you back a beautiful soul. The Gemara says he gave you back clean soul. Cleanse everything, all your issues. That's it. And the Eibishter trust that today is going to be. Why? Because yesterday has nothing to do with today. Has nothing to do with today. That's it. Mashahaya was yesterday. You were 60 yesterday. Who cares? The birthday's over. Now it's a new day. So it doesn't have, nothing helps. Nothing. You got to decide what you're going to do today. And yesterday is not going to. Only the good of yesterday will hopefully inspire you and you take the good with you. The bad you got to get rid of. The bad of yesterday you got to go. You always take the good with you. The good is nitzchis. The Rebbe once said, the Gemara says, Meleim mitzvahs kerimai, that a Jew is full of mitzvahs like a rimai. So the questions asked on this Mishnah, there's many questions that are asked on this Mishnah. You know, Meleim, Rishayim, the Gemara says, Rishayim, even the wicked are full of mitzvahs like a rimai. And so this was like a shocking statement of the Gemara, that Rishayim, I can tell Jews, tzaddikim, Rishayim, Malay, mitzvah. So the Rebbe wants to ask the question, a simple question: if they're full of mitzvahs like Elim, they must be full of other things too. They're Rishayim. You call them Rishayim. If you call them Rishayim, then this Rimain that not only has unbelievable, beautiful pits of mitzvahs, they must have also a bunch of rotten pits there too, because you guys did Avedis. So they must be filled with Avedis too. So you could say, oh, it's 90% beautiful pits and 10% rotten pits, but it's also filled with something. So the Rebbe said, this is the meaning of this is the beautiful meaning of the Gemara. The Gemara says that only a mitzvah fills you. A mitzvah fills you. An Aveda leaves an empty space. An Aveda leaves an empty space. It's a void. It's a void. A sin leaves a void. The void, because it's not real. Because you should do tshuva. It's not real. You're positive, you can never get rid of. You filled yourself with something that you can never get rid of. You're negative, even though something might be there. You brought in tumah, but it's not real. It's something that's not real for you. So therefore, do tshuva and you'll get rid of it. So it was never real. Your Aveda was never real. That you can do tshuva and eradicate it, that shows you that it was never real. It's a void. Something missing. Not that it fills with it, nothing gets filled with this sin. Only mitzvahs. And that's why the Gemara says, Rishayim, Melayim, mitzvahs, Kerimah. That even Rishayim, Bayidin are full of mitzvahs. Because the mitzvahs that they have done, the mitzvahs that they do, you cannot get rid of. You can't get rid of. It's impossible to get rid of a mitzvah, because a mitzvah brings godliness to the world. And that is nitzchis. That's everlasting. That's forever. Beautiful words. Nice words.
You're supposed to forget yesterday's the bad and only.
But again, you have a lot of void, because you have a lot of void. Not saying you have void. You have to do tshuva. You have void. You have to fill it with the mitzvahs. You got to fill it. You got to or get rid of the thing that is not real. Get rid of the negativity that is not real. The truth is, anything negative, forget about anything negative. Trust me. Any negative thought, depression, sadness, is not real. It's just not real. Most of us realize down the road that it's all not real. It's all above a Maisa. The fight you had, the hate that you have, the struggle, it's all above a Maisa. It's all based on your imagination. There's a big Baba Maisa. Yeah, because it's not real. Majority of the time, I'm not talking about getting the murder. Don't give me those analogies. But a major struggles that most people go through is in their mind. It's in their mind. It's not a true thing. So you're bringing in your mind a lot of void. You gotta think good. That's why think good will be good. Stop thinking negative. Stop having imaginations of negativity. This is bad and that's bad and that guy hates me and this I'm jealous of this guy and I hate that guy and we hate each other. It's all Bob and mice. It's all void in your mind. It's all not real reality. It takes us many years to mature, maybe, to realize all the stusim avolim I had in my life was basically nothing. It never was there. It's a bava maisa. It's based on some kind of a fantasy, based on some kind of imagination that we have some kind of struggles. It was never a struggle. It was all void. And halavai, we would all mature quicker in our relationships with one another. that we realize what is it based on? Somebody said something, somebody said it right, somebody said it wrong, somebody said that the guy said, and v'chulu, etc., etc. It's just all nanishkeit. It's all nanishkeit. But to us right now, it's not nanishkeit, and that's the problem. So in our fantasy, in our mind, we have all these illusions of things that are way it should be, way it shouldn't be, etc., etc. I learned the Gemara last week, actually. The Gemara says, the Gemara says, Yotza Baska, La Baska comes out from heaven. Machlekes, Hillel and Shammai. Hillel and Shammai had a machlekes. They argued in everything in the Gemara. They argued in everything. Whatever Hillel said, yeah, Shammai said no. And Shammai said, yeah, Hillel said no. Whatever. They argued in everything. And what's the halacha? So a Baska came out from heaven and said, you're both right. You're both right. Oh, wow, that's great. We're both right. Okay, what do you do? If we're both right, what do you do? So another voice came up from heaven and said, Allah Beis Hillel. Laws like Beis Hillel. Okay, validate who can be better than validation of God, that God says Allah Beis Hillel. But why talk it up? The Gemara asks the question, if both are right, so why don't whoever wants to follow Beis Shammai, follow Beis Shammai. Whoever wants to follow Beis Hillel, follow Beis Hillel. So the Gemara says, but you have to be careful in that, because you can't say, I'm going to pick all the easy ones of Beis Shammai and all the easy ones of Beis Hillel. If you follow Beis Shammai, you got to follow all the easy things and the hard things. And if you follow Beis Hillel, so why did the Baskel come out and say that Allah Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel? And the Gemara answers, because Beis Hillel would listen to Beis Shammai. And not only they would listen to Beis Shammai, the Gemara says, they would actually say Beis Shammai's halacha before they said their. They would explain Beis Shammai before they said their own thing. So what is the meaning? The meaning is that they have the capability to listen. People, when they have an argument, they're not listening. Nobody wants to listen.
Right.
They don't want to listen. They have their opinion, and they don't want to listen.
They have to
That's it.
stop talking.
That's it. So they don't want to listen. That's it. You should learn like Beis Hillel and listen. And listen to another person's opinion. You might disagree with him. You might not think like him, but do you have opportunity to listen? Listen to the other person. Even say the other person's opinion, and then disagree with him. You're entitled to disagree. Hillel had the right to disagree, but he didn't have the right not to listen. And that's what Hillel taught us, that the person should listen. That's the Baska. Baska said, Hillel understands how to have an argument, how to disagree. You only disagree if you listen, because if you don't listen, then it's not a disagreement. It's just an emotional fight. It's not a disagreement. You didn't even listen to the other person. So you don't even know what the other person is saying. You have no idea what the other person said, because you're just in a fight. If you learn like Beis Hillel, then you would listen, and you would not only listen, you would say to the other person, you'd say, "Wow, you have this and this of opinion, but I think I'm entitled to disagree with you, but I'm not diminishing you. I'm not telling you, say, oh, I don't want to listen to you. No, I'm giving you your right. You have the right to have your opinion. You have a right to disagree with me." That's why they loved each other. Hillel and Shammai loved each other, because they didn't diminish each other. They have different opinion. You have two Jews. You have two opinions. So 3 opinions. Which is the joke is you're right. You're also right. So everybody's right. That's different. All right. But ultimately, to be able to listen to somebody else, to be able to even comprehend the other person's opinion, not to say, "Oh, I don't know your stupid opinion." No, I understand your opinion, but it's all right. But I don't think that it's right at this present time. That's why the Gemara says when Mashiach comes, we'll go like Beis Shammai. Allah will be like Beis Shammai. Yeah. Because actually Beis Shammai is the real opinion. Beis Shammai was much deeper than Beis Hillel. Yeah, Beis Shammai was much smarter than Beis Hillel. Yeah. The Talmidei Beishamai, because Beisila took everybody in. So he didn't have total smart people in his group. Beishamai, you're not messing around. You didn't fit the class. You were thrown out. So he, Beisila had the rejects of the committee. He didn't have all the geniuses. Beishamai had a serious chevra. He had a serious group of Talmidei Chachamim, and they were no joke. There were no like Lublin. You had to come to Lublin. You had to learn 500 Gemara Bapa Peh. Not everybody can get into that kind of yeshiva. You just couldn't get into the Beis Shammai's school. They still took everybody in. You take everybody in, you're not going to have the walking geniuses of all the great Talmidei Chacham. But ultimately, Yotza Baskel and says Allah to Beisila, that you should follow like Beisila. No, not Bechlach because Beisila, because that's the beauty of Allah. Allah is not that this is the way it is, and just no other reason. No, listen. We can listen to other opinions. We can have humility. The Gemara says, and that Gemara says, a person runs away from covered runs after it. That's Basila. So that's why Hillel said, Hevim et Talmidei Shaladen. Famous statement Hillel said, Hevim is Talmidei Shaladen, Oyev Shalem, Veroidev Shalem, Oyev Esabrius, and Makar V'Latera. If you want to bring in the rejects, you want to bring in the troublemakers, you want to bring in Yidden that are away from Yiddishkeit, you have to love them. You got to love them who they are. You can't expect them to come to you and be, the top-notch student. You have to love everybody and bring them into Yiddishkeit on their level. And that was the attitude of Basila. And that's the beauty of Basila. Right? Madalach Sani, L'chavel Esavid. That's it. Madalach Sani, L'chavel Esavid. So Hillel. Yeah. He's a real Chabadnik. Yeah. Hillel was a real Chabadnik. Yeah. That's it. So
the reason we
correct.
so I say that we don't have to forgive right away. We could wait and see how it goes off.
Actually,
But you may not get the
there's
chance.
a bracha that a thing that we say every night, and it says,
Yeah,
I forgive everybody.
right,
I
every
forgive
night.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The Gemara says that when you come to the Eibishter to forgiveness, you come in the morning, Slach Lanu, Avinu Kichatanu, Hashem Chanan Amar B'Lisleach. The Eibishter forgives you right then and there. You say a bracha every day, right? You say it every morning. You say the Shemana Esrei. You say Slach Lanu Avinu Kichatanu, Nachal Lanu Makenu Kifashanu. Right? And what do we say? These are very strong words. Not the stam. We say Slach Lanu Avinu Kichatanu. With a sin, forgive us, our King, for you have transgressed. Right? Baruch atah Hashem Cham Amavis. Gracious are you, one who pardons abundantly. The Eibishter forgives you right then and there.
So how come
He doesn't wait
How come we can keep repeating it?
because we keep on sinning. But we sin between Shachas and Mincha, and then we sin. So the Eibishter forgives you right away. Doesn't say I'll forgive you later. Forgives you right away. And the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya later that if you don't say this bracha, if you don't believe that, then you're saying a bracha levatala. Then you're saying a bracha in vain. It's one of the 10 commandments. You're not allowed to say a bracha in vain. So that means a Jew has to believe the Eibishter forgives him. Stop walking. Don't say, oh, God doesn't forgive me. That is not true. The bracha you say, the Eibishter is an abundance of forgiveness. He can forgive you constantly. The Eibush is unlimited. He doesn't make a difference. Another person, you ask him 5 times, he had enough. But the Chanan Amar V'Leslech means he doesn't. He's infinite. So he does it 5 times and 1,000,000,000 times is the same thing. There's no difference. Another person, so all of a sudden, you're going to hurt him once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to say enough is enough. I had enough of this asking forgiveness, and it's done. But by God, there's no such kind of concept. There's no time. There's no amount. So therefore, Chanan Amar V'Leslech. The Eibush is unlimited forgiveness. You can do the same thing over and over and over and over, and the Eibush forgives you. And therefore don't carry on guilt with me. That's in essence David saying to you every morning. Don't mix me into your guilt. Yeah. Don't say, oh, forgive me, I'm a terrible person. You just said in the davening, David that forgives you, so stop it. Don't mix your craziness with me. Okay, so the David says, I forgive you. Other people might not forgive you, but when you come to God at least, the David says, I forgive you. I forgive you. It's done. I'm done. I forgive and forget. I'm not like your wife who forgives but doesn't forget. But I forgive and forget. I'm done. And if you don't, if you don't believe that, then you shouldn't say the bracha really, because then you have a problem with the bracha. So a yid has, and the truth is that's a beauty. A yid has to know that the Eibishter, when it comes to God, if you ask God for forgiveness, God forgives, and He forgets. He forgives and forgets. Between you and somebody else, that's a separate issue. Yeah. But when it comes, at least when it comes to the Eibishter, a lot of people are walking around with the Vedas of the past, and they're walking around with the sins of the past, and they're like, we can never be good. The Eibishter says that's a lie. I forgave you, so what's the cup? You're telling me that I didn't forgive you. I say it in the davening. I forgave you, so you're forgiven. I'm done. So don't come to me and say, blame me that you're walking around depressed and angry and because of me. Oh no, I forgave you. So don't blame it on me, your psychiatric issues. Between me and you, I'm clear. I have forgiven you and I am going on. And there's no issue to me. So I have forgiven and I have forgotten and go have a good life. That's a beautiful thing, and we do it 3 times a day because that's truth. That's the davening is saying is the truth of what it is. So it's important to understand that. It's very because most of us have guilt issues, and we think we have problems with God. We think we have problems with the Eibishter. Forget about we have problems with others. We have problems with God. That's our biggest guilt. Yeah. That we're not perfect. We're not this. And God says, I said a voice yesterday. Okay, listen to this voice. So that was the voice. So he says, look at the way the pasuk looks at something, and then you go to the medrash, right? So the pasuk says the first day of creation. What was the first day of creation? Oir, light. Maybe she says it's beautiful, right? Kitayv. You look at Rashi. Rashi says it wasn't so beautiful. It's too big. It was too much for the world. God had to hide the light. Oh. So it's not so good. Oh, let's go to second day of creation. Oh, maybe she separated the waters. Things happened, upwards, lowers. Rashi says that was the first day of strife in the world, right? And that's why it doesn't say taif, right? Creation. Oh, that is the best day. Pamayim taif says double good. Right? Tuesday, the best day in the pasuk, right? Look at the Rashi. Rashi says, trees sinned on that day. The Eibishter wanted the trees to taste like the bark tree, and the trees, bark of the tree sinned, the Gemara says. Right? Rashi says. The tree sinned because it didn't taste like the fruit. Went against God. Oh, so it wasn't such a great day. It was a pretty lousy day. Okay, let's go to the 4th day of creation. 4th day, the Eibishter created the sun and the moon. That's a separate issue. The sun and the moon. Everything has a malach. Everything has a malach. So the sun and the moon were created in the world. Unbelievable. Light in the day and light in the dark. What a phenomenal day. Look at Rashi. Rashi says there was a big fight in the sun and the moon. And the Eibishter made the moon smaller. And then we actually bring every Chodesh or bring a chatas because the Eibishter did a sin, so to say, and he made the sin small. So it's not such a great day. Okay, not such a great day. Okay, let's go to the 5th day of creation. Now, hopefully that the Eibishter says type, and every day he's saying it's beautiful. And the Eibishter says on the 5th day of creation, he created all the fish, right? Beautiful day of creation, right? But we know the Gemara says, and now she brings it down. That on the 5th day he created these 2 big fish, the Leviathan, which is connected to Mashiach. He created the 2 of them. He had to kill one of them.
Had to what?
He had to kill one of the fish. And it was because they're going to destroy the world. If they're going to keep these two fish, they're going to destroy the world. Okay, so it's not such a great day. Let's go to Friday. Hopefully, Friday day, because it says Tov B'Oid. Right? It's a phenomenal day. God created man. You all know that all the malachim in heaven said, "Well, you're crazy. You're creating man. You're Meshuggah. They're going to sin." And Kachava, he sinned on that day of creation. So it was a shvacha. It was a lousy day. Okay. So which was a good day? Every day the Torah said. No, it doesn't say anything about Shabbos that was good. So on the 6 days of creation, that's the day of creation. Shabbos not creation. On the 6 days of creation, the pasuk says every day it was good. It was phenomenal. It was unbelievable. You go to the Rashi, you go to the it was a lousy. So what was it? Was it good? Was it lousy? What's the shot? A human being has to realize, a Rebbeinu has to realize, even though it's not a perfect day, David says it's phenomenal. God says to me, it's phenomenal. You want to go to the Rashi? Gesund to hate. But to me, it's phenomenal. To me, the day is phenomenal. Tov Ma'od. Imagine a day that God created man. That day he sinned. David says, Tov Ma'od, it's a phenomenal day. It's a phenomenal day. It's a lousy day. He says it's phenomenal. Every day, to me, is unbelievable. And the proof is every day he gives you life, and tomorrow it shall give you life, because God every day is phenomenal. Is it perfect? No. If you want to go to that aspect, it's a lousy day. You want to pick up every negative thing you can do today, every negative thing you did yesterday, then you're gonna go to Rashi. You're gonna go to commentary. Oh, it's not so good. You should also look, and it's true. It's a lousy day. You had this argument, you had that argument, you had this jealousy, you had this machshava zara, you had that machshava zara. Abel says it's phenomenal. I love it. I love every machshava zara. I love everything. Everything is part of it. Everything is going to come something good out of it. And that's why I love every single day. The good and the bad and the ugly. I love it all. I love it all because by me, it's Tov Ma'od. By me, I only see the good in everything, and everything the negative. I know sure that you're gonna fix it, because that's why I sent you it. That shouldn't be perfect. You're not a tzaddik. You're gonna be a halavai beinini. I wish I was a middleman, and I know you're gonna mess it up. I know you're gonna mess it up, but it's still good because I know you're gonna fix it. You're gonna learn from it. You're gonna fix it. You're gonna go better. You're gonna do things better, all because of these mess ups. You're going to become a better person because you're not a tzaddik, so you're going to mess it up. But you know what? All phenomenal. All beautiful. I look at every day as Tov. It's Tov. It's beautiful to me. Beautiful. And that is, no, that's the way that's the way the Rebbe wanted you should look at things. That you to take the good. Sure, we have bad. Accentuate the good. Accentuate the good. Don't talk about the negative. Don't dwell on the negative. Accentuate the positive. Sure, there's negative. That's human beings. You're negative. But if you can accentuate the negative, which is not real, because you're going to do tshuva and you're going to fix it. So it's never real. Accentuate the real. The real is the good. The good is real. The negative is not even real. So why accentuate the unreal? The sheker. Why you accentuate the sheker when you should accentuate the good? And maybe by accentuating the good, and that's why that's why the Rebbe says you need to thank God every neshima. You really need to start learning to thank the Eibishter on the good. If you'll thank more the Eibishter, you won't take it for granted for all the good that God has done for you. He's giving you a little zetzes here and let's he's doing. But in comparison to all the neshima, every good thing God has given you, every good thought, every good breath, every good joy, it's all for the Eibishter. All the good food you're eating, all the beautiful homes you're living in, all the good. How much is negative? Garnished. If you accentuate the positive, then the negative will shrink. Because you'll put it in its right. It's garnished. It's there. I'll argue you. It's there, and they're real, but it's garnished. You got the picture. It's ultimately garnished because in comparison they're all this good.
It's,
It's the best way to guarantee that you're going to repeat your Averas. Then yes.
I agree. Oh, you
I think it's a book called The Positivity.
positive bias.
Positivity Bias.
It's true. But that's what the Lord is. Not that we're not in denial of the negative, but you have to evaluate. You should be a mother de cheshbona. You should evaluate what's the positive, what's the negative. It's garnished. It's truly garnished. I don't care anybody whose taka has negative. What is the comparison to his positive? It's garnished. It's really nothing. Yes, my dear.
I'm a little simplistic.
I know, but I like to be simplistic. You know what? But you need to be simplistic. I think we need to be simplistic.
They're off to there, they're in alcohol and drugs and all other kinds of people. You get new day, forget all that. They were abused, they were whatever, they have a medical depression. I don't know what it is, but how can you just say that you can
No.
help people?
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say no. You have to validate their pain. To validate their pain. I'm not here to when a person was abused. I agree with you. You're a person abused. You don't have to forget about the past. No, you have to validate. But then you have to tell them, even though you were abused, and that's terrible, and it's tragic, and we need to work on that. There's so much more positive. There's so much more positive in your life than even the negative of your abuse. There's so much more positive. I always say the story, and we have to go. So we learned a lot of words over here. But it says a story. It says a story of I think it was who's the guy who chased after the Nazis? What was the guy's name? What was his first name?
No.
Elie Wiesent. No, the other guy. The museum in California. What's his name? No. Come on, guys. Wiesel, Chaim Wiesel, right? Whatever. Simon Wiesel, not Elie himself. Chaim Wiesel, Simon Wiesel. So it says a story that Simon Wiesel lived through the Holocaust. It was once in the DP camp after the war, and they sent for America the joint. They sent to Rabbi Eliezer Silver, who was then called the chief rabbi of New York, whatever. And he went there to run the high holiday service. So he was running the service. He saw this Jew standing outside. Didn't want to come into this tent, the shul, and it was Chaim Wiesel. So he didn't know. Chaim Wiesel didn't know where he was going to be at that time. So he went over to the sea. He went over to the sea. Why are you not coming to the shul? Why are you not coming into the service? So he said, I tell you something. I can't come into the service because there was this Yid, there was this Jew in my barrack who had a tefillin. He had a pair of tefillin. I came from a religious family, and he had this pair of tefillin. And Jews would line up to use the tefillin, and Jews would line up to use his tefillin, but they had to give him something. They had to give him a piece of bread. They had to give him something. And it bothered him. It really bothered him that that this Jew was taking food from people, and I decided that this is disgusting, and I just can't be part of such a right. So this Jew turned to him and said, "Listen, why are you looking at the Jew? Why are you looking at the story of the guy who took the bread? Why don't you look at the 1,000 Jews who got online and were willing to give their piece of bread to God? Why you have to look at it? You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're wrong. You're chutzpah. I took food from another Jew to put on tefillin. But look at the 1,000 Jews who are willing to moisten nefesh to the last piece of bread they had to put on tefillin. That's what you should look at. That should inspire you. And something because that's true. We always can look at the negative, which is true. It's a chutzpah, and it's a terrible thing, and it's not a nice thing, whatever. I'm not going to judge any Jew who's starving to get also a piece of bread. But whatever. So whatever, everybody did what they wanted. Listen, life, we should never go through that situation. But look at the thousands of Jews that got online and were willing to give up their last piece of bread of the day to be able to do a mitzvah, to be able to do this mitzvah. So that's the beauty of the mitzvah. The thousands of Jews. So that thousands of Jews that you're telling me got online, that's the beauty, not the one. You're trying to overtake the thousands with the one negative. Don't use the one negative to overcome thousands of positives. But that's human nature. Human nature is we know that for some reason the negative becomes the whole consuming thing of life. And that's why the Rebbe says you need to make a bracha on a drink of water. Because it needs to remind you that to think of all the positive, the small drink of water, what is it in comparison to, the small drink of water, shakal ne'ebed water. If we can accentuate all the positives that we have in life, then it's not going to get rid of the negatives. That's not the point. It's going to put the negatives in perspective. And hopefully you'll be able to be a better person by putting those negative into perspective. I wish you all a wonderful day, a happy day, a good Chodesh. God bless you all. May we continue to learn